You are here for a reason. I dare you to stick around and find out why. Grand Rising, everyone. Buenos dias. Bon dia. It is 6:54 a.m. in beautiful Waikiki Beach. And I just want to explore a question this morning. I'm going to read an ancient proverb. When your soul is full, you turn down even the sweetest honey. But when your soul is starving, every bitter thing becomes sweet. When your soul is full, you turn down even the sweetest honey. But when your soul is starving, every bitter thing becomes sweet. The question I want us to explore this morning is, am I starving? Am I starving? I think there's so many times in life when we accept things that are much lower than what we should be accepting. And I'm talking about relationship dynamics, the way that people treat us, the way that we treat ourselves, because our souls are starving. And you guys already know what time it is. When you get hangry, I don't know if y'all get hangry. I actually don't really get hangry anymore, but I remember when I was, a little bit younger, I used to get hangry. And for those of you guys that don't know what hangry is, that is when you haven't eaten in a long time, you actually get into a bad mood because you're so hungry that you can't really shake the subconscious presence of, I freaking need to eat. And that puts people in a state of just being in a bad mood. But when you're really hungry, it's crazy because stuff that you would not normally consider eating, now you're considering eating those things. To bring it to literal practical examples, I try to take care of my body to the best of my abilities. Actually, on the Wave Shapers channel, I want us to get into talking about how important it is to care for our physical bodies and give ourselves the best chance to thrive in our health and do our part to ensure longevity, right? But I try to take care of myself. Y'all already know, my family knows, I'm all about the gains over here. How is this food contributing to my overall health, to my goals in the gym, to my goals for fitness? And so I like to eat high protein, low carbs, moderation in fat. You already know what time it is. But when you go a really long time without eating, you'll freaking be driving down the street, you'll see a McDonald's, and the thought will cross your mind. Or a friend will be eating a horrible snack that's just loaded with artificial sweeteners and sugars or some crappy food, chips, junk food, whatever, and you will be tempted, and we all have done it, that you'll just freaking reach and you'll grab that, and you are basically lowering your standards because you're so hungry. And that's one thing to do it with food, but the question today is, what else are we doing that with? Because if we are feeling emotionally hungry or emotionally starving and we want acceptance and we want validation, then what relationships are we allowing into our life to satisfy, to curb our appetite because we're not getting that satisfaction from the right places? So let's go into practicals of, let's say, a relationship, for example. You may be a young guy, you may be a young girl, and you're in a relationship right now, and that boyfriend or that girlfriend honestly doesn't treat you very well. You may be a girl and you're dating a guy who is continually lowering your self-esteem, making you feel bad about yourself, comparing you to other people, or speaking negatively about your body or your intelligence or your this and your that. Why do you stick around? Well, I want to present the question to you. I'm not here to tell you what's going on in your life, but I want you to ask yourself, are you sticking around because you are in so you're in such dire need of validation. You're in such dire need of acceptance that you're willing to put up with the bull crap of somebody that's not treating you right just to get the scraps. And you're willing to take the scraps because you're so starved for love. You're so starved for acceptance. Man, and the root of most of this comes from our childhood. So the first foundational need for every human being is to be unconditionally loved and cared for. That is the first foundational need for every human being. The way that we were created by our Creator is that when we are born, those first 3 years of our life, give or take, our parents are basically, in the original design of the Creator, they are supposed to show us through the way that they treat us and the attention that they give us that we are loved not because of what we do or not because we behave well, but because we exist, because we're alive, because we're their children. And what happens is, because of the principle that we've mentioned before here on this channel, that you cannot give what you don't have, because our parents never had that unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. They don't have that. They don't have the capacity to give that to us. A lot of times we blame our parents for not being great parents. And I get it. I mean, I actually had, all things considered, I had phenomenal parents, but I get, and I see, and I have friends, and some of my best friends, they tell me the stories about the way that they were raised and about what their parents did to them and stuff. And it's really hard, because really they got put through some very crappy situations. But you can sit there and play the victim all you want, but you got to understand, your parents did the best that they could. No, they didn't. My parents didn't do the best that they could. Yes, they did. What's the proof that they did the best that they could? It's what they ended up doing. The same way that if you look back in your own life, I want you to think of a moment where you were not, hey, that ain't it. I have a good friend. He's originally from the UK. Shout out, you're from, and he taught me this, bro. You just say, that ain't it. Like, this is not the way that it's supposed to be. This is not working right now. I want you to think of a time in your life where you were not acting the right way. Maybe a time when you backstabbed a friend, or you freaking cheated on somebody in a relationship, or you fell into some dirty, illegal, grimy stuff. You lowered yourself. Why did you do that? And the answer is, it's because that's the best that you could do in the moment. With your ability to deal with life and cope with whatever was going on, eso fue lo mejor que te salió, por decirlo así. That was the best. And that's the way that everyone is. So your parents, even though they weren't these picture perfect parents, they did the best that they could. And because they never received unconditional love and acceptance from their parents, they never had that to give to you. And because you then didn't receive that unconditional love and acceptance, you set off on your life journey starved. Starved for attention, starved for unconditional love, starved for unconditional acceptance. So when we get into talking about girls with daddy issues, this is psychologically what it is. They never received unconditional love and acceptance and care. Or even worse, not only did they not receive that, but then they also received the other type of trauma, which is some of their fathers have abused them emotionally, verbally, sexually. And so their image of a paternal figure is fully distorted, and what they didn't receive from their father, now they are seeking to receive in their next relationship. And that's why you see that there are girls and guys also, but in this particular case, where there are girls who are in a relationship, they break up, they get into another relationship, they break up, how many of you guys know somebody, or maybe you're that person, a young girl that is always in a relationship? She's never not in a relationship. If she's out of one, the clock is ticking. She's going to be in the next relationship. You know, I'm not bringing judgment, and I'm not speaking down on you, young woman that's going through this, but you need to like stop and evaluate and notice the patterns of your life. And I'm here to tell you why, psychologically, why. It's because you're seeking for something that you did not receive in your childhood. And therefore you're going through life starving. And guess what people that are starving do? They beg. When you look at you're driving down the street or you're walking down the street and you see a homeless person, somebody who's down on their luck. I have a freaking heart and a love for people that are down on their luck. But when they're asking for, hey, can you give me a penny? Can you give me $1? Can I have money for food? If you offer them food, or we've gone out and done food drives. You give these people, hey, are you hungry? Yes, I'm hungry. They don't even be asking, some people do, but if they're really hungry, they don't be asking what's in the paper bag that you're giving them or what's the food. They take that. They take whatever it is because they're starving. And people that are starving beg. And so some of us are going through life and we're begging other people, love me, accept me, love me unconditionally. But that's so dangerous because that mentality perpetuates cycles. So it perpetuates the cycle of, I'm not satisfied, and the satisfaction that I'm seeking cannot be found in another person. So I'm going to get into this relationship, but I'll still be the same me that's not satisfied. So it doesn't solve my problems. And because I was expecting it to solve my problems, this relationship is basically doomed to end or doomed to be dysfunctional, or both, because I'm looking to the relationship to satisfy something that the relationship can't give me. And then another part of the perpetuated horrible cycle is that because I'm approaching this relationship as a needy person, as a starving person, that is like the least attractive thing that could ever happen. And the only person that you can attract, tune in, zone in, tap in right now what I'm about to say. The only person that you can attract when you are in a state of dysfunction and of need and of starving is another dysfunctional person. Because a fully functional, healthy, and whole person immediately starts to get to know somebody and notices that they're in this state of disarray and starving for love and all of that. And they, because they're healthy and because they're not starving, they will be able to, not in a malicious way, but reject and say, hey, I cannot link my soul. I cannot continue to pursue a relationship with this person because they are in a state of unhealth right now. It's not going to benefit anybody. And y'all already know, we should not be getting into relationships to try to solve or to try to fix or to try to heal people. That is a self journey. The journey of restoration is one that needs to be initiated by the individual. I'm going to say that again. Your journey of restoration needs to be initiated by you. Nobody else can heal you for you. Now, yes, of course, the Creator brings people along our life path to help us along our journey. We are social beings. We were not created to do this thing called life by ourselves. And if you're really seeking to walk the right path, other people that are like-minded will join you and will help you, man. I would not be where I am today without the mentors that have reached out, my brothers that have been accountable with me. Shout out to my bros. I love you. But my desire to walk and to start and to get up, that came from within myself, empowered by the grace of the Creator. And I only brought that, I kind of went down a side note there to say that we cannot get into relationships with people to heal or to fix them. So if I can't get into a relationship with somebody to heal or to fix them, that means that I'm only seeking relationship with people that are compatible with where I'm at in life and that are compatible with my calling. Now, I do want to say something that's kind of like another side note, because as I'm hearing myself talk, I want to clarify something, which is we all should have 3 levels of relationship in our life. We should have people that we are learning from and that we are being mentored by. That's necessary. We should have people that we are in just friendship relationship with, our peers, to say that's necessary. And we should also have people that are coming behind us in their journeys of enlightenment that we are helping to lift up and to be, whatever it is that they need us to be in terms of lifting them into their full potential. But so that's important. So when I say that you can't have a relationship with people that are unhealed, I don't mean it in that way. I mean when you are seeking to connect your soul, and I'll even say particularly in a romantic relationship, if you are in a place of health, you won't accept to get into a relationship with a very unhealthy person, because being in a romantic relationship with somebody is just like making an omelet made up of 2 eggs. If one of the eggs is good and the other egg is podrido, if one of the eggs is good and the other one is rotten, how's the omelet going to be? The omelet's going to be jacked up. You can't eat an omelet if one of the eggs was rotten. So when I say that, I particularly mean getting into a romantic relationship with somebody who is in a state of disarray and unhealth and of starving. You can't do that. I mean, you could do it, but it's going to jack your life up. It's going to perpetuate your cycle of unhealth and by the way, you can't accelerate your purpose, but you can delay it. You can't accelerate your wilderness season, but you can delay it. You can't accelerate you entering into the promised land faster than you're supposed to, but you can delay it. And you can take 40 years to do something, to reach a level spiritually in your soul and physically that you should have reached in 40 days. But anyway, to circle back around, because I kind of just wanted to put this topic out there, and we can go deeper in another video, but look at the relationships in your life right now. Look at the friends that you have. Look at your romantic relationship. Look at your relationship with your family. Are you putting up with ish that is beneath you? Are people treating you the way that you deserve? Do you have the friends that you really want in this life? And if the answer is no, and I think we all have things in our life that we say like, yeah, like that was okay for a time, but now that I'm elevating, now that I'm moving forward. And by the way, Wave Shapers is a channel for people. Wave Shapers is a movement, is a tribe for people that are aiming to be better. To be better, not just do better, but to be better. And you can either do better or you can get bitter. So if you're trying to be better continually along the way and along the path of getting better, you have to say, this relationship, this thing, this habit, this mentality is no longer serving the greater good and the purpose for me fulfilling my destiny and my calling. So I just want to end this video with this challenge is, look at your life. What are you accepting right now that you should not be accepting? And is that because you're starving? Is that because You're needing attention. You're needing acceptance. You're needing validation. Maybe you're just straight up lonely. You know how many people get into a relationship, friendship relationships and romantic relationships because they're just straight up lonely? Bro. And then we can go deeper in another video about the opposite. The other half of that ancient proverb that says, when your soul is satisfied, you'll turn down even the sweetest honey. When you're satisfied, man, I'm living my restoration lifestyle. I have my family. I have my friends. I have my purpose. Bro, people come up to me. I meet people and they offer me stuff, whatever it is. They offer me business opportunities, friendships, girls say what's up to me or whatever. And I'm like, hey, yo, I'm good. I'm really good. Like, it's not that I'm looking down upon them or whatever. It's just like, I'm full. You know, so many times I even meet people and they're cool people, but I don't exchange information with 95% of the people that I meet. I don't exchange Instagrams. I do be letting them know about the music though. I'd be like, hey, yo, y'all come on. Plus, we can bless people with that. But anyway, I don't exchange it. Why? Because I'm not really looking for friends. And I'm sure as hell not looking for a romantic relationship right now. I'm trusting the people that are in my life are the people that are supposed to be in my life. The people that are exiting my life are the people that are supposed to be exiting my life. And if the Creator needs me to connect with somebody on this level or on that level in order for me to fulfill the purpose that He created me for, He will make it His business to connect me with that person and to give me the grace and the insight to be alive enough and awake enough to recognize that. And there I'll be intentional about opening the avenue for that relationship to be developed. You get what I'm saying? When we go through life satisfied, we won't be deceived. When we go through life satisfied with where we're at, what we've been given, who's in our life, we cannot be manipulated. Are you being manipulated right now because you're not satisfied? C.S. Lewis said it this way, kind of a different spin on the same principle, and we'll finish the video with this. C.S. Lewis said, a man with an obsession is a man with very little sales resistance. A man with an obsession is a man with very little sales resistance. What is the world selling you? Because you're obsessed with the feeling that you think that thing can give you. Wave Shapers, we need you. We need you healthy and whole. The world needs your art. The world needs the content that you're going to create. And the way to do that, the right way, is to do that from a place of health and of satisfaction. So ask yourself the question, what do I need to do? We'll finish with this. I dare you to say this out loud. What do I need to do to be satisfied in my soul? Say that out loud. Take a moment of peace, of quiet. And I bet you that the idea for the answer will come to you. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.